Over the weekend, the media feeding frenzy over President Biden and his place on the ticket saw elected Democrats tripping and falling all over themselves to have their names appear in stories calling on Biden to quit the race and go be elderly somewhere else. This despite a new round of swing state polls published on Saturday showing the presidential race remains essentially tied, with the only change since the debate being in Joe Biden's favor. Biden leads Trump in both Michigan and Wisconsin in the Monmouth swing state polls, two must-win states for the incumbent. Still, the drumbeat to quit is so deafening, Biden called into Morning Joe this morning to reiterate that he's staying in the race, and he had choice words for his critics.
I don't care what those big names think. They were wrong in 2020. They're wrong in 2022 about the red wave. They're wrong in 2024. And come out with me. Watch people react. You make a judgment. You make a judgment. I'm getting so frustrated by the elites. Now, I'm not talking about you guys, but about the elites in the party who they know so much more. But if any of these guys don't think I should run against me, go ahead, announce for president. Challenge me at the convention.
Meanwhile, I just came from the annual Essence Festival in one of my favorite cities, New Orleans, where a cross-section of the kind of Americans who would be at the greatest actual risk under a Trump Project 2025 dictatorship were gathered to attend workshops and concerts and to hear from Black elected entertainment and thought leaders, including Vice President Kamala Harris. And here's how that sounded.
When the United States Supreme Court essentially told this individual who has been convicted of 34 felonies that he will be immune from essentially the activity he has told us he is prepared to engage in if he gets back into the White House. Understand what we all know. In 122 days, we each have the power to decide what kind of country we want to live in.
Be a better ancestor than descendant.
Come on.
What kind of love letter do you want to send to future generations?
Yes.
We don't have the luxury of apathy or cynicism or complacency, because the rights that we have, we had to legislate, litigate, agitate for every single
100%.
one of them.
Amen.
Things that were a birthright to everybody else. So please be a better ancestor than descendant.
And that tracks with what we've seen in focus groups, where undecided Black voters have been asked about their reaction to the debate.
It was over 30 lies that Trump said, and I realized that I think he just continues to spit rhetoric just to keep you discombobulated.
After the debate, who do you trust more to run this country?
I mean, if I had to choose a person just strictly based off the debate, then of course it would be Biden.
And it tracks with what virtually every Black person I spoke with or otherwise interacted with in New Orleans, who, again, were from all over the U.S., what they said to me. The most loyal base of the Democratic Party knows Joe Biden is old and that he didn't do well at that debate. But what they actually care most about is beating Donald Trump. Biden also went to Philly to a Black church filled with actual Black people on Sunday. Do take notes, Republicans, which went like this.
If we ever lock arms and come together, there's no election that we cannot win. There's no enemy that we cannot defeat. We are together because we love our president. We pray for our president.
I've been doing this a long time, and I, honest to God, have never been more optimistic about America's future. If we stick together, we must unite America again. That's my goal. That's what we're going to do. God bless you all, and may God direct our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, that's an entire Black church, and not a Black church filled with MAGA visitors, chanting 4 more years for President Biden. He then spoke to a group of labor leaders and members in this very important and his real-life home state. All of that happened this weekend. But please, privileged, rich, white elected Democrats, you just keep publicly defenestrating your party leader and president to feed the media thirst for Democrats in disarray stories because you're scared for your own seats and apparently don't know how to campaign on a surging economy, high-tech jobs, and $35 insulin. I mean, you're the most important thing here, right? You and your donors, of course, not the actual voters in your party base who can't afford to see prices double on everything they buy due to Trump's China tariffs and who would be the first ones fired from their federal civil service jobs under Project 2025 or shot in the streets by Trump's stormtroopers if they protest. You do you. The media is super entertained, and that's what's important. And also, this is your brand, right? Remember after Democrats passed Obamacare? Obamacare's popular now, sure. Imagine being able to see a doctor or take your kid to the emergency room. But it wasn't always a slam dunk people pleaser. And it was actually quite toxic, with some Democrats running away from the president's signature health care reform law. They didn't want Obama to campaign for them or endorse them. They treated him as a pariah in states where he was deeply unpopular. In 2014, Allison Lundergan Grimes, a Democratic Secretary of State challenging Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, refused to reveal whether she'd even voted for President Barack Obama, dodging the question by reporters and even during a debate of Kentucky's Senate race.
Why are you reluctant to give an answer on whether or not you voted for President Obama?
Bill, there's no reluctancy. This is a matter of principle. Our Constitution grants here in Kentucky the constitutional right for privacy at the ballot box, for a secret ballot. You have that right. Senator McConnell has that right. Every Kentuckian has that right.
Ms. Grimes had no problem, however, noting that she was a delegate for Hillary Clinton at the 2008 Democratic Convention. The party does this. It's quite on brand. Running from Obama in 2014 helped to finally complete the Republican takeover of the South, including all but 2 Senate seats and every state legislature. And you know who paid the highest price for Democrats' scaredy-cat fumblings when a Democrat holds the White House? The same kind of voters who were at Essence Fest. Because Republican control of the part of the country where a majority of Black Americans still live has meant dramatic declines in education funding, stalled expansion of Obamacare, radical abortion bans, including threats to jail women and doctors in states like Louisiana, book bans and total bans on teaching accurate Black history. Black Americans are the proverbial canary in the coal mine. When conservatives hurt us, which they've always done, regardless of whether they've called themselves Democrats or Republicans throughout this country's history, the pain is soon shared by everyone of every race who is not a rich, white, straight man or his loyal anti-woman voting wife. But, you know, freaking out is kind of the Democrats' brand. The editorial board class at one point or another has called on every Democratic president from Bill Clinton on to withdraw their candidacy for re-election, and elected Democrats have promptly fled from that president. It is kind of a tradition. Republicans briefly did the same after the Access Hollywood tape came out, and for a hot second after the January 6th insurrection, when the Chicago Tribune and other papers, even Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal, said Trump should resign. Something none of the major editorial boards did when Trump snatched migrant babies from their mothers, or banned Muslim grannies from coming to the U.S., or killed 1 million people by lying about COVID and telling folks to inject bleach into their bodies rather than just take the vaccine that his own government helped fund the creation of. But as we all know, that didn't last either time, because in the end, the Republican Party stands for nothing except accumulating power for its own sake and for the sake of tax cuts for their donors. And most in the media just enjoy the drama. But real people actually get hurt by this stuff. And over time, the restrictions that Republicans erect to voting and the disillusionment triggered by having every advancement canceled and replaced by increased incarceration, increased poverty and want, while a small number of rich people eat up all the money and destroy the literal air non-rich people breathe, creates the kind of vicious cycle that produced 23% voter turnout in the off-year election that put Louisiana's Donald Trump, cruel and awful Jeff Landry in the governor's mansion. But for the grace of God and voters, America could soon be Louisiana or Florida or Texas or Tennessee. Because Republicans are determined to inflict the same poverty and want and cruelty and mass incarceration and woman slavery and unchristian nationalism that they've condemned the states that they run to on us all. With Trump as their Project 2025 dictator marionette and the Leonard Leo Supreme Court conservatives as their star chamber. But ask elected Democrats what the real problem is, and they, and most of the media, will tell you it's Democratic presidents every time. Meanwhile, we got a taste of what conservatives have in mind if elected Democrats and donors succeed in driving Biden off the ticket in favor of Vice President Kamala Harris. This person, writing at the Rupert Murdoch rag, the New York Post, rolled out the right's new favorite slur, sliming Vice President Harris as the DEI hire vice president, to which I have both a question and a statement. First, the question. Exactly who are you, Charles Gasparino? Like, literally, who are you? And what qualifies you to write an editorial about the presidency, even in the dollar store New York Times, other than you being a white guy? Like, what are your qualifications besides that, Charles? Are you like a presidential historian or something? No? All right. You're just a discount rack, conservative, generic, racist, angry person. Not sliding in unqualified at all, are you? And now the statement, which I will edit to PG-13 as this is a family show. We are not going to let a bunch of mediocre, whiny conservatives turn diversity, equity, and inclusion into a slur. That lady you're sliming was the Attorney General of this country's largest state and a United States Senator, which fully qualifies her for her current position as Vice President of the United States. And if she were to become president, not only would she have earned it by getting tens of millions of votes and thus becoming a duly elected official, DEI, she would also possess more qualifications than you. What was the name again? Something Gasparino could ever hope to have on your best day. Now go off and write about golf or dancing off beat or whatever your actual skill set is, because you're not qualified to discuss the vice president. She's doing her black job and has no time for you. I, however, did have time tonight. So there you go.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn, MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.